Okay, so now we can start displaying the data in our application. Now this will depend a bit on your XAML, on your layout, but as you can see, I already have a layout for my application, and I just have some placeholders in here right now just so you can see what it would look like. So the text I want to replace, this text with the current temperature. This is a feels like temperature, and you know, I have all these other fields down here, and I want to change the text below it to whatever the data in the response of the API is. So I've already named all of these, so it's easy for me to do it. So for example, I have this, you can see feels like here, I have this text block, and its text is feels like, and then so this is like the title. That first text block was this feels like text, so we don't need to change that, that's going to be constant. But then the text block under it has a name of feels like C, and then this is just the placeholder I put in so we could actually see it. So if we want to change this value, or the text of this text block, we grab its name, then we just go feels like C, and you can see it shows up in the autocomplete here. Feels like C, and then we can just go dot text, and then we can just set the text. We want to set it to the feels like C, and that data is contained with this weather object. So we can go weather dot current, right? So now we're into here, and then we want to go into the current data, and then in the current data, that's this object, we have feels like C. So dot feels like C, and this is a number, so we can just go to string for now. Cool. Why don't we try this and see what it looks like? So I need to call this method we made in the main method. So just show weather like this, and let's run it. Okay. Oh, that can't be good. Okay, so we got an error, and it's saying that input string 4.0 is not an integer for wind kilometers per hour. So that's just my bad. That was kind of stupid. The better way to do this, instead of just looking at the value in here, would actually be going to the documentation and reading that wind kilometers per hour is actually a decimal. So that should have been a double. And I'm just gonna double check that I didn't do that with anything else, because I actually might have. Okay, so I changed viz km and precip millimeter back to doubles. Okay, so let's restart this. Okay, and we can see that everything works, and this feels like number updated is 25.4. And that's the only thing that changed, because that's the only thing that we asked to change. Okay, cool. So let's close that and do the same thing for the rest of our data. And actually, to make it look a bit nicer, I'm going to use the $ trick again. So I'm going to put this in a string with the $, and then I'm just going to put it like that, and then that means we can easily put something after it, like degrees Celsius or something. Okay, so what else do we have? Let's go to the design. It feels like, so this is temperature, right? Temp C. So I'm gonna go temp C dot text is equal to $ weather.current.temp C, and then as well degrees Celsius. We have wind speed, So this is wind kph. Wind kph dot text is equal to, oops, did not do that. Weather dot current dot wind kph, and this is going to be kilometers per hour. What else we got? Humidity. So humidity dot text is equal to, oops, don't forget the curly braces. Weather dot current dot humidity, and humidity is in percent. Next we can do precipitation. Precipit dot text is equal to curly braces weather dot current dot precipit. Next we can do wind gust. Wind. What's the name of this thing? Gust. Okay, so wind is gust. Dot text is equal to $ weather dot current dot gust, and it's also in kilometers per hour. We have wind direction and visibility. And we don't add anything else to the string, so we can just put in weather dot current dot wind direction. In fact, I noticed that up here for millimeters, we forgot to put millimeters for unit after it. Then visibility dot text is equal to weather dot current dot face kilometer, and this is going to be in kilometers. Okay. So let's run this and see how that looks like. Boom. Okay, so we can see all our data updated. So the temperature, the feels like, the wind direction, the humidity, all that stuff is all updated automatically from the API. And this is all real-time data. So next we can do the town, the region, and the country in the last updated. So this town, region, location. Okay, so we can go, I'm gonna put that up here as well. Now this one's a bit different because we're using two values in the same string. So I want it to be town and then region. So the town is actually called name, weather dot, now instead of going weather dot current, we want to go weather dot location to get the location data. And then, so name is going to be like Squamish or Vancouver, like the name of the city. And then outside of the curly braces here, we're going to go comma, and then another set of curly braces, weather dot location, and this is going to be the region, so like BC or California or whatever the region of the location is. Okay, and now we can go country, and these names they might be different for you depending on what you name them in your XAML, right? These names come directly from your XAML, so make sure if you're using the same names as me, that's fine, but if you're using your own names, make sure to use them instead of what I'm using here. Especially if you're using different types of data, like if you're using isDay, for example, I'm not using that, so you'll need to make your own name for that. So country's location, weather.location.country. And then last one is last updated. And for this, we don't need to do the $ trick. We can just try to put in, which one is this in? This is actually in current. So weather.current.last updated. Okay, so this will all work. Now let's do the icon. So the icon is a bit weird because if you, let me go back to Chrome here and we can see the response. You can see, look at this. So it's like a URL, but it's like part of a URL, right? It's missing the start HTTP, and that's required when we put it into our application. Because what I have in my XAML, where is this? I have an image here. So this is the image that shows the icon. And you can see there's a source, and right now this is just a placeholder, just so we can actually see the image in design mode. But the source, it needs to be http:// and then the URL. But in the data, it only returns the slashes. Not sure why, but we need to add in the HTTP and the colon. But that's not a problem. We can just go, hold on, what is the name of this in my XAML? Name is icon. Okay, so I'm gonna go icon, icon.source. So we want to change the source, right? See how the source here is the URL for the image. So we want to change the source, and this source needs to be a bitmap, and a bitmap is just a way of storing an image. And there's a class for that, just new bitmap image, and we'll need to import that just from there. And this, when you create a new bitmap image, you need to pass in a URI. So we need to do new URI as well. And we'll need to import that as well. And this needs a parameter for the destination of the URI. URI is basically just a URL. They're very similar. So this is where we need to add in the HTTP. So I'm going to go HTTP and then the colon, and then plus weather dot current, and then we want to go into actually we never did that, so we need to add in this weather condition into the weather current, right? Remember how this condition object is within the current object, so we forgot to add that in here. So weather condition, and it's just called condition, like this. And then this will have the icon in it. Weather.current, go back here, dot condition. Oh, we forgot to make it public, that's why we can't access it. Dot condition, and then dot icon. Put a semicolon at the end. Okay, so this will change the source of our image to the icon we receive in the response plus HTTP at the start, because it's, I don't know why it's not included in the response. So let's run this now. And if you look closely, just as the app launches, you'll see it update, because it does take a bit of time to make the request. Yeah, see that? And you can see this icon is different than what it was before. Before it was a cloudy and a sun, and now it's just straight sun, because it is rather hot today. And all the other information is updated, and we can see this location thing has worked as well. We have Squamish, BC, Canada, and the last updated at 1 o'clock. It's currently 2 o'clock. Maybe it'll update soon again.